So yeah, after college, I tried out with the San Jose Sharks and, had a great time. I wasn't good enough to make the NHL and ended up in the minors and realized that's probably not where I'm going to, last very long or have a real career. And so I started writing my first business plan on those bus trips. And that was the company that you referenced, Shocks. And the reason it came up was I was asked to be a pro roller hockey player. I'd never been on those inline skates before. And I threw them on, and boy, I'd lost all my mobility as a goalie, and I'm really small. So that's all I had was my ability to jump from one side to the other faster than the puck. And those skates really took it away. And I just remember going, I can fix this, right? And so I developed out of cardboard what I thought the bottom of the skate should look like that held the wheels. They call it the chassis. And it articulated in a way that allowed me to really move. And so I called a friend at MIT and called my brother and said, hey, you guys, we need to make one of these. And so we did. We made this prototype of what I had envisioned. And I actually have one here. So this is the original Shocks prototype. And it is super heavy and it's really high, and you'd really probably get hurt trying to use this. But the chassis moved underneath your foot, and your foot, you didn't lose balance when the chassis moved to accommodate, quick turns or push-offs or even uneven surfaces. So my brother and I, we said, we got to do this. And my dad gave us the money to file patents. So while that patent process was going, we said, look, we gotta kind of hack our way into a real business and pretend we're bigger than we are. And so we were shooting videos with our family members. And I remember my sister, we made her take her helmet off, and she really couldn't skate. And she flew around a corner, just slammed right into a building. And we were like, okay, we looked at each other like, we can cut that, while my sister's lying bleeding on the floor. And eventually we went to this trade show, and we had prototypes that looked a little better than that, not much, and had music going and these videos of my family members, dismembering themselves on inline skates. And we had K2 and Rollerblade and Oxygen and Mission all coming up to the booth saying, what is this? And we're like, yep, we're going to market and you guys are in trouble, right? A total joke. But all three of them were interested in new technologies. We kind of played them off against each other, and eventually Oxygen, which was owned by the Amer Group at the time, which was the Oxygen Snowboards, Atomic Ski, Wilson Tennis, a big sports conglomerate. They decided hey, we got to have this on our next line of skates. And so they licensed that product from us. My brother and I said, look, we're not going to go into production. We have no idea what we're doing. Let's take this licensing deal. And so we got to go to Austria and Italy and Germany to see assembly and manufacturing and sales. And it was really incredible. And we were asked to present a lot of times, and I had to skate on these things and do a lot of demos. And that business just grew, and we did it all out of the attic of my brother's fraternity house. We were making no money at the time. We really were only given money by my dad to file these patents. And I'm sure he was paying for all our food, sure. But we're living, I was sleeping on a floor in an attic, and my brother was sleeping in the closet of that attic. And I didn't even have a key to get in. I had to jump a fence to get in and out. So we had no money, and we're banking everything on, we're not getting jobs, we're doing this. And I'm spending a little bit of the money I made playing hockey. So, they go into production and they start selling, and we get a couple dollars for every time they sell. And we're like, this is fantastic. And we're learning along the way, felt like on somebody else's dime. And then Oxygen came to us one day and said, hey, we don't want to pay royalties anymore. We just want to buy your company, which is essentially a bunch of patents, right? Sure. It was intellectual property. And before I go too much further, I'll show you what that last final version of the skate ended up looking like, right? So way cooler looking, and you could fly over any surface. And it became less of not a hockey skate, but it became a recreational skate. That's where the market really was for something like this. And very customizable in the ride that you wanted. In the end, production drove it to be a very expensive product. So the volume wasn't quite there. And that's pretty interesting, because we didn't have any understanding of how it would really sell. There were projections on it, and we were being paid on those projections. And the projections didn't quite meet up. but there were minimums built in. So they kept having to go over these minimums. And for them, it wasn't, economically viable to continue to pay royalties. So they made an offer to buy the business. And my brother and I were like, we have no idea what this is like to get, to sell a business. We better hire a professional, somebody that does this every day. And so we do. We hire somebody, and they do a great job. They kind of package the business, they frame it, they project out what it could be, what is this intellectual property, how it could be used on a full line of skates. And we end up coming to a number that we all agree on, and we sell the business. And, that took just a couple of years. So it was this amazing experience of building a product, finding product market fit, creating like real economic value for ourselves, and then having this exit. And it wasn't by any means, a walk-off home run experience, but we had hit a single as first-time entrepreneurs, and so I like to say we live to launch another company another day.